what I'm going to be demoing is what I call PiFi. It's a Wi-Fi provisioning system for robots that have Raspberry Pis. So shorten the name to PiFi to make a nice bad pun.
Raspberry Pi 3.
Yeah, it only Raspberry Pi 3 to be specific, because that has the built-in Wi-Fi and it supports the access point mode that I require. So let's start out with this, with the idea that my laptop is the robot. So if the robot isn't connected to a Wi-Fi network, right, like usually when you have a Raspberry Pi, you either have to get a monitor, a keyboard, mouse, and plug it in, and then hook it up to the network, or use Ethernet and SSH in that way to get your to connect it to your Wi-Fi network via the command line, or in the case of the monitor, the GUI that you installed on there. But that doesn't really work very well because it requires all this extra stuff. So the way that PiFi works is that at startup it runs this script. That needs root. So it runs this script that uses Network Manager, which is the default default network system in Ubuntu and most Linux distributions, and it looks at what Wi-Fi devices are available, which ones of them support AP mode, and then what networks are those connected to. So right now I'm connected to Google's Wi-Fi. So it says, so after the script just exits saying that it's connected to Google Guest, and there's nothing to do because it's already provisioned onto a network. So now if I what Google Guest. So I'm just disconnecting from the network, and now if I run the startup script again, usually you would do this by rebooting, but I'm just manually running it because I don't want to reboot my computer a bunch of times for the demo. So it'll come up and say that it is not found a network. It's not already connected to a network. It's not, and then it says no SSIDs from pending connections found. I'll talk more about the pending connections in a little bit. And then at the end it says that it's found a connection, it's found a settings connection for an access point mode, and it initializes access point mode. And now you can take out your phone or whatever and connect to the robot, or in this case my laptop, via Wi-Fi, SSH in, run some app or whatever you need to do, because it came up as its own Wi-Fi access point. And in fact it's set up so that if you plug in an Ethernet port, you can actually get internet through the robot, so you can have the robot act as basically a whole Wi-Fi router. And the use case for this is if you have like a LTE modem, and an LTE modem that's via Ethernet, you can have that. You can plug that into your Raspberry Pi, and now you can get internet through your robot wherever as a hotspot, while still being able to take your robot into your house and have it connect to your house Wi-Fi, and have your laptop on your house Wi-Fi in the infrastructure mode and be connected there. But if you, let's say, bring your robot to the homebrew club where we don't have Wi-Fi that allows you to do peer-to-peer communication, the robot will just come up as its own Wi-Fi access point, and you can connect to it. So the thing about Wi-Fi access point mode is that if so I'm just going to run the Network Manager command to list the Wi-Fi access points that I see. And the thing is that most Wi-Fi cards don't let you scan for Wi-Fi networks while you're in AP mode. So you can either be looking for Wi-Fi networks or be a Wi-Fi network yourself. And this is kind of problematic when it comes to bringing up a robot, because once you're on there, you can't actually connect to any other network because you can't see it. So PiFi lets you do list scene, and it gives you a nice giant list of all the access points that it saw when during the boot up process. And in the case of Google, there's a lot of it, and right now I'm not removing duplicate access points, so there's a lot of repeated Google networks right now. So now so then let's say I want to connect to a network. PiFi has this idea of a pending connection. The pending connection is basically you can put in the SSID and password for a Wi-Fi that you want to connect to, and during the boot up process, if PiFi sees that network in the region available, it'll attempt to connect to it, and then if it successfully connects, the story ends there. If it doesn't, it goes back into AP mode. So if I do PiFi list pending right now, there are no pending connections because I haven't set up any. And you could do sudo PiFi add SSID password, and that would let you connect. And right now it only supports WPA2 personal networks, so you can't connect to your old web router. You can't connect to a WPA enterprise, and unfortunately right now you can't connect to an open Wi-Fi network. So I can't connect to the Wi-Fi here. So I can't show the pending connection working, but let's say I just manually connect to it. Well, yeah, I'll just use my mouse. Yeah, so first I actually have to disable, AP mode. So connection down, hotspot, that's the name of the default access point connection. So now after I disable that, I can just connect to a network. Yeah, that's just happening on my screen. Okay. So I connected to the network via the standard Ubuntu GUI, and now if I run the sudo PiFi startup again, it'll say that it's already connected to a network, which it is. So, and if you had added it to the pending list, it would have seen that and connected to the network when on this boot up process. Another interesting bit is you might see is it says that it's using the Wi-Fi for AP mode support and then another one for client mode. This is part of, I'm trying to do an experiment with dual Wi-Fi. So if you wanted to do something so hacky as put a USB Wi-Fi dongle in addition to your to the standard built-in one on the Pi, then you could have one act in access point one mode and then one in client mode, so that you can do the simultaneous scanning and connection, so that you would always have an access point on the robot that you can connect to. So yeah, that's about it on PiFi. You could go to my GitHub if you want to see more about it.
I was just going to ask, where could you get such code?
What's your GitHub? Could you type it?
Yeah, that's.
So, Ron, is it just a bunch of scripts, or is there apps you've written as well?
So it's all Python code. I'm transitioning to Python 3, and there's instructions on there on how to get Debian packages for it, so that you can just install it via apt and make life easy. And otherwise, you could use setup.py and manually install the systemd service to make it work.
Are you using the Raspberry Pi that has the built-in Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
chip?
Oh, it's the Raspberry Pi 3. And the nice thing is that chip supports AP mode, not just ad hoc Wi-Fi, but actual proper AP mode, just like your router.
It does not have soft AP mode, Ted.
So it does not have the RTL 8188.
It does not have the
No,
RTL
it does not have that Realtek chip. That's a giant pain.
That works.
Does it work on the Raspberry Pi 0W?
I don't have one, so I can't comment on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the same Wi-Fi chip, and as long as it's running Network Manager, it should work. I mean, it works on my laptop, so it's not super tied to the Pi 3, it's just the main platform that I'm using, and that's the main thing I test on.
Does it only support 16.4 or does it work on 14.4?
It should work on 14.04. I don't build Debians for it, and you'll have to write the upstart service yourself because I just wrote the systemd service. I mean, if you want to do a PR for some 14.04 support, I'll definitely accept it.
Okay. Thank you.